Evening settled softly over the Sea of Galilee. Warm, golden light from the setting sun reflected on the gentle waves. Jesus looked at his disciples and said, "Let us cross over to the other side." The men nodded, trusting his voice without question. They pushed the small wooden boat away from the shore, the water splashing against its sides under the sunset backdrop. The boat drifted into the open sea, the water rippling gently. Jesus, tired from a long day of teaching the crowds, rested near the stern. The disciples talked quietly among themselves, recounting the miracles they had seen. The sea glowed with the fading colors of the evening sky, a beautiful mix of purple and orange. A calm peace settled over the water like a gentle blanket, the surface still and smooth. Jesus closed his eyes and drifted into a deep sleep on a cushion. The disciples, skilled fishermen, guided the boat with confident hands, adjusting the ropes and sails. Small waves lapped softly against the hull, creating a slow, gentle rocking motion. Their hearts felt steady, protected by his presence. As they glanced at the sleeping Jesus, they felt a sense of peace and safety. The night deepened, and countless stars began to emerge overhead, their bright light reflecting on the water's surface. A cool wind brushed across the water, creating small ripples. The disciples smiled, thinking it was just a normal evening breeze, but nature was quietly shifting. Unseen, dark clouds began to form on the horizon, gathering together. The wind started to whistle across the surface, turning the gentle ripples into uneven patterns. Waves lifted slightly, tapping the sides of the boat with growing insistence. Something powerful was coming, none of them saw it yet, as the storm clouds formed dramatically in the distance. Then, a sudden gust of wind slammed across the sea, spraying water violently. The disciples grabbed the edges of the boat, their expressions startled. Dark clouds rolled across the sky like a rising beast, thick and terrifying. The calm sea transformed into a chaos of violent waves. Water crashed over the sides, soaking the men instantly. The storm roared louder, fierce and wild, with howling wind and foamy waves. The boat rocked violently, almost tipping over into the churning sea. Panic surged through the disciples like a bolt of lightning. They shouted in fear, fighting to keep the boat from splitting apart as they frantically pulled on ropes to secure it. Thunder cracked across the heavens, and flashes of lightning illuminated the terrifying scene. Waves towered over them like liquid walls, ready to swallow them whole. The disciples shouted to each other above the howling wind. "Grab the ropes! Hold fast!" one of them cried, gripping the ropes tightly. The sea churned like a living monster, a turbulent chaos of wild movement. Their little wooden boat groaned under the immense weight of the water, its danger increasing with every passing second. One disciple began bailing water desperately, throwing it out of the boat in an urgent struggle for survival. Another shouted in terror, "We can't hold on much longer." Lightning flashed again, revealing their exhausted and terrified faces. Massive waves slammed into the boat relentlessly, a display of violent, untamed force. Their hearts pounded with dread. In the midst of this chaos, Jesus still slept peacefully. The disciples couldn't believe it, staring at him in shock and desperation. A massive wave hit, nearly flipping the boat and bringing them to a near-death moment. "Master, wake up!" they shouted, shaking him with urgent panic. Their voices trembled with fear as they looked at him with worried eyes. "We are perishing. Don't you care?" one disciple cried out in desperation. Jesus opened his eyes slowly, his expression perfectly calm. A sense of peace radiated from him, even in the middle of the raging storm. He stood up, steady and unafraid, in the rocking boat. The storm raged around him, but he did not waver. With supernatural calm, he faced the storm confidently, a powerful presence in the midst of chaos. Jesus stepped toward the edge of the boat. The strong wind whipped his clothes violently, and the waves roared like beasts before him, surging toward the boat. Yet his eyes held an unshakable authority, firm and calm with divine confidence. He raised his hand toward the storm, a commanding gesture over the sea. His voice thundered, louder than the wind itself. He spoke just 3 words, "Peace, be still." Instantly, the wind obeyed. It stopped completely. The towering waves flattened into calm, mirror-smooth water. A deep, heavy, holy silence fell over the sea. The disciples stared in utter astonishment, their eyes wide with awe and disbelief. Not a single ripple moved across the vast expanse of still water. The sky cleared, and the stars began shining again in the beautiful, calm night. Jesus looked at them gently, his expression calm and compassionate. "Why are you so afraid?" he asked softly, a lesson of love and truth in his eyes. His soft voice carried both warmth and wisdom. Then he asked, with gentle firmness, "Do you still have no faith?" The disciples whispered among themselves in a reverent hush. "Who is this?" one of them murmured, his face a picture of amazement. "Even the wind and waves obey him." In that moment, they looked out over the still water, filled with an awe-filled realization. They knew they had just witnessed divine power. Their fear transformed into deep worship, and they bowed their heads slightly, their hearts humbled. No storm could stand before him. The sea reflected heaven's calm once again, its peace fully restored. The boat floated gently toward its destination. Jesus sat back down, as peaceful as ever, a gentle smile on his face. The disciples watched him with new understanding. Their hearts changed. Their faith deepened in that silent, holy night. They knew the one with them was greater than any storm they could ever face. And their hearts finally rested in his power, on a calm boat with peaceful minds. The storm was fierce, but Jesus was greater. The disciples learned the incredible power of trust. And so can we, in our own storms. No matter how strong the winds of life blow, his voice is stronger. When fear rises, faith can rise higher. When chaos surrounds you, his peace remains. This is the story of Jesus calming the storm. You are watching Kingdom Chronicle. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the Bible. Thank you for watching.